Welcome to Making Comics in Procreate. This is for the series Black Project, and you're going to be seeing how I created a double page spread, which is 22 inches by 17 inches high, and we'll get right into it. You'll see the process. I start with blue lines here, and I basically field what I want for a two-page spread to create a cinematic, dramatic effect here with a very gruesome revelation in the bottom half, and you'll see that happen here as well. If you've read Black Project #1, you're going to notice that this is very similar to what happened there, mainly because the reason I am revisiting this is because this is the other point of view of what happened in the first issue, and this is the actual truth of what's happened. So as you can see, I have such a huge custom made template here for creating a comic book page that's two-page spread going left across to right, that the dimensions are actually 5600 by 4327 pixels. The reason we did this way is because Procreate will only let you go 5600 pixels wide, and at that's it. It should be 66, but it won't let you. So you have to go 56 by 4327 pixels, and then that way later on when you export the file to Photoshop, you can resize it to 22 by 17, or at least 6600 pixels wide, and can continue working with lettering your comic. So as you can see here with this dimensions this way, we're only allowed 4 layers. So I'm using my layers very, very sparingly and very wisely. I use 1 layer for the comic book page template. I recommend that you find something like this image online, resize it to 11 by 17, and always use this as your bottom page layer, and then draw on layers above that. So as you can see, the blue lines were above that, and then the ink lines are another layer above that. And since we are only allowed to use 4 layers, I go ahead and I delete the blue template, and I get rid of that, and I start shading where that one was before. That way, more layers gives me some more flexibility with what I want to create and paint and shade and give it that cinematic look as you're about to see happen around here. Now, you'll notice that the characters in the middle panel, they've all been duplicated to look the same, and mainly because of, for story purposes, they all have to look the same. And I have a tendency to kind of change the look from one character to another, so I want to have everything consistent. So I just use the basic lasso tool, select that character, copy and paste it to a different layer, and then I copy it, and then I paste it, and I merge down as I go, knowing I can only keep to 4 layers. As you can see on the bottom half, I doubled it down and it went down below 1 layer, and also have the characters altered. By using the lasso tool, as I mentioned, I can select areas, move it around, and then I'm drawing with the fresh line on top of that to create the effect that they're being murdered and attacked by these tentacles, and it gives it that horrific type of effect there. And we create the horror of the effect by the shading and the coloring, as you'll see shortly. The pen I've been using is called Technical Pen. I recommend everyone try it out. Another pencil tool that I really like is called Narinder. I recommend everyone give that one a shot too. The pens and pencil tools and the painting tools here in Procreate have been a godsend and have been a lifesaver for me and for this series specifically. As you can see, we created a new layer now, and in this layer, it's the basic flat color with some shading. I use a flat medium gray, and then I can go ahead and add shading using the Narinder pencil with white and darkness. So I can have the highlights and I can have the shadows with the same pencil. I just changed the color tone. As you can see, the main characters are all in white, and they'll later be shaded in with gray as a separate layer. And the main image here on the top half of the crashed meteorite with the tentacles forming out of it is also considered a character. So I wanted that to stand out a bit more and give it a very strange blue tone to it, which will be shaded and also covered up, as you can see, with the smoke and lighting effect that I've created. I didn't really want to focus on that right now because the main focus happens later, as you'll see, and I wanted the smoke and the environment and the crash, and I wanted the size, and I wanted the people to be dwarfed by the size of this crashed meteorite here. So, and as you can see, we've added some lighting effects to where the characters are at the edge of the crater, which you'll see right on the right hand side of the screen. And you can see that I've carried over the color of the meteorite towards the tentacles, and then of course kept it a flat blue and played with the shading as well. I also use an abstract brush to give it a sort of strange odd texture to it, as well as a water brush, which looks like reflecting light reflecting off ripples of water. And that actually helps it give it an alien skin tone to it, so we understand that it's not of this earth. So here you can see with all the blood and everything else happening towards these characters and the action lines, this is the finished double page spread. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something about how to create comics in Procreate. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, and on Facebook, look for Crazy Pencil Comics, and also on Instagram with Crazy Pencil Comics. And look for Black Project on Amazon.com and Comixology.